Hey gamers, Stogie here. Today I'm bringing you guys another gameplay video from Battlefield 4 on the PlayStation 4, and today's video will be a guide to the IFV, the Infantry Fighting Vehicle. And there are three different vehicles in this game that constitute IFVs. That's the ZBD-09, the BTR-90, and the LAV-25. Commonly these are just called LAVs, so if you're playing with people and you're in something that's a different number or letter, most people are just going to call these things LAVs because they're used to it from Battlefield 3. But primarily these are infantry fighting vehicles, and that's what IFV stand for. And this is kind of funny. I take these two guys out and save Sean's life, and he does a little jump for joy. But yeah, they're mainly for fighting infantry. So you guys, if you haven't watched already my tank guide, that was really a guide to disabling armor and taking out armor. What we're going to be discussing today is ways that you can take out armor. As you've seen already, I've taken out one IFV and I'm going after another here. So you can absolutely take out armor, and there are setups that help you take out armor. But mainly this vehicle is really good against infantry, and there's setups that you can do to make it mainly for infantry, mainly for anti-vehicle, or kind of a combo of both. So what I'm running here is the LAV or the IFV, and I have on it the Zuni rockets, and the Zuni rockets are my secondary, and they are kind of non-homing or heat-seeking rockets. They just kind of shoot out where you're aiming, and I think, yeah, you get 8 of them. And they have a little bit of drop to them, but they have a decent amount of splash damage and direct impact damage, so I'm using those. And then I'm just using the main, I think it is like 25mm cannon or something it's called, for my primary weapon. And then I have autoloader on as my add-on, and you can also run reactive armor. Reactive armor is pretty good in this too, because what you're going to see is when you go up against tanks like this, you're going to lose a lot of the time because the tanks deal way more anti-vehicle damage to you. So see what I'm doing right here? I'm using the speed of the LAV to outpace this tank and take him out. It's one thing that you have to know and understand and stress when you're running these IFVs, is that they're made to be agile. There's 4 wheels on either side, or 4 eight wheel sets, and the machine runs over potholes, runs over people, runs over trees and bricks, and anything that's going to be in your way. It's extremely agile and quick, so that's part of its benefit. You guys all know that the tank moves a little bit slower. It's harder to maneuver, harder to turn. Not the case with the IFV, so you want to use that to your advantage. You want to outpace tanks and get out of the way when you can. Right now I've taken critical damage and I'm about to die, and if somebody didn't take this tank out right in front of me, I would be done for. But anyway, let's get back to some setups. If you want to run this primarily as an anti-vehicle setup, you're going to want to run the armor-piercing shell as your primary, which is that APF SDST shell. And then as the secondary, you're going to want to run the tow missile. Now, these are not going to be great against infantry because, again, they got to balance things in Battlefield 4. But if you want to be anti-vehicle, you're going to want to run that setup. The tow missile deals a massive amount of damage, and it's wire guided, and then the armor-piercing rounds for your primary deal more damage to heavy armor, but they don't deal splash damage. So if you were to say shoot them at infantry, you got to hit them pretty much directly, or it's not going to deal damage. I like to stick with the 25mm cannons because they deal some nice splash damage, and then the Zuni rockets also deal some splash damage. So they do damage to light armor, and they also deal damage to infantry. So it kind of makes it a combo package. If you want to just run anti-infantry, you're going to probably want to run the canister shell or the HMG with the not reactive armor but the autoloader, because you're going to want to keep the bullets flowing. And reactive armor, reactive armor will help you against engineers, but if you're playing with one other person and they can help rep you, or you know how to maneuver and turn your IFV so that you take hits on sides that deal less damage, that's what you're going to want to do, and you'll end up surviving against infantry. Again, there's probably 3 primary setups that you can use with this, but the main thing I got to tell you is watch out for these tanks, because tanks will take you out. So right here I was going head to head with one tank and thought I might be able to take him out. Did not know there was a second tank in the background there. So yeah, 3 setups. You got anti-infantry, a combo of anti-infantry and anti-light armor, and then anti-armor. So you got to really choose how you're going to approach using the IFV, and a lot of it is kind of based on the map you're going to play. So you've seen me so far on Flood Zone and Goal Mod Railway. This is Dawnbreaker. I think Flood Zone and Dawnbreaker are two of the best IFV maps in the game. So if you're looking to level up the IFVs, those are two really good maps. Goal Mod can be hit or miss. It's pretty heavily surrounded with tanks, so I wouldn't recommend IFVs, although you can be successful with them. I do think Dawnbreaker is excellent though. So right here you're gonna see we're playing Rush, and the enemy team in Rush on Dawnbreaker gets 2 LAVs to your 1 LAV. So actually no, I think we did get 2 LAVs, but our other teammate was in the spawn doing jack shit with it. So this is a good example of me taking out infantry and taking out armor at the same time. And here's a good example of how I was telling you these things maneuver really well. I'm driving over these tree stumps and over these trash cans and just driving over everything, and it doesn't slow me down at all. See how quickly I evade that LAV and get out of the way as I was taking damage? So that's one of the huge benefits to this vehicle. So if you guys have any questions, leave them below. I'd love to answer them. I don't profess to be an expert. I'm just trying to give you guys some helpful guides on how to run these vehicles in this game, because the vehicles can be a big challenge in Battlefield 4. There's a lot of different setups, and if you're not used to it, you're going to look at the stuff and not really understand what you're looking at. So I highly recommend you guys use Battlelog. If you're not primarily using Battlelog as your stats, place, and your unlock progression tracking, I would highly recommend using it. You can now use Battlelog in-game with Battlefield 4, which is kind of cool, but I just tend to use a second screen or use an iPad or something to track my progress. So you can track your unlocks, you can change your setups on your vehicles and upload them directly to the game. It's really cool. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, again, just leave them in the comments below. You'll see me just kind of decimating some infantry here at the end and using this is the combo, again, this is the combo anti-light armor and anti-infantry setup I have on here. So the Zuni rockets and the regular cannons deal some nice splash damage. So you can see me taking these guys out at the end, and then right at the end of this video, this LAV comes. I think this is the 3rd LAV that's challenged us in this game, and we end up taking them out as a team. So thanks for watching, guys. I am going to be looking at doing the mobile AA next, so I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take it easy.